Okay, so let's just discuss it as being, the area of a triangle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the longest side down first that I'm witnessing anyway. There's two sides over there. One is, 8.7 yards. So I'm going to, kind of draw 8.7. And, by the way, when I do that, I want to tell you what I'm doing. I'm kind of looking at my little rule over here, and 8.7's, looking at this thing, 1, 2. But when I'm doing that, I'm talking about these markings, the big markings on my ruler over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I think I went too far. I went to 9, so I want to get 8.7. So I'm going to say it's over here somewhere. All right. So let me get my eraser out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this over here. I'll erase that. All right. Now, again, I'm not saying this is the most important thing in the world to do, but it sure would be nice to, get some kind of visual reference to figure out what area of a triangle would be. So I'm going to say this over here is side A, and A is 8.7 yards. Okay? What I'm going to do next, I'm going to do angle B. And angle B is a big angle. I want to tell you that when I'm using my ruler, though, once I hit the 90-degree mark and I do this, you notice it starts to get smaller now, but the angle's getting bigger, right? So what I got to do is talk about, what the reference would be, all right? So what's the reference going to be? And this is what I got to be really clear about. There's going to be a reference over here. So what I mean by reference, when I'm measuring this thing out, there's going to be a reference over here, a reference angle, all right? So I realize that it's very precise, but I'm going to say, this is roughly about 130, I'm going to say roughly about 134 degrees, all right? It seems, why'd you do that? My ruler doesn't give precision beyond, a whole number. So 133.6, roughly 134. So what would the reference be? Well, it'd be 180 minus 134. And what's that going to be? About 46 degrees. So I'm going to get a reference over here. And again, just a ballpark. So I'm going to do over here of 46. Let me see if I can do that. It's tough, isn't it? Got to get that in there. Yeah, it's really tough to get 46, isn't it? No, you don't have to be that precise. But I'm going to kind of move that over here, try to line it up. And I'll put a line in over here. Whoops. Yeah, kind of screwed up with that, didn't I? I'll erase it later. Okay. All right. Let me take a look at that. Pull the ruler on the side. Get my little eraser out. All right. And I want to tell you this angle over here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. This angle here, which is angle B, is 133.6 degrees. And no, it's not accurately drawn. So what else did they give me? They gave me C to be 2.9. And I know that this C has got to be that side that I just drew in. And it's 2.9 yards, which is roughly 3 of these units that I just did. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to measure out 3. And I'll get my eraser out. So 1, 2, 3. So right about here. All right. Now, granted, I'm not saying this is terribly accurate. I want to get my eraser out. And again, I know I spend a lot of time in drawing the picture. You may say stuff, I don't need that. And then you wouldn't be drawing the picture, by the way. All right. And for some students, they really find it very difficult. And I always say you have to be able to understand what you're reading. If you can, without a picture, that's fine. But I'm drawing a picture for you for a reason. We'll get to their question later. Whoops, I did it again. I want to draw a line in. Okay? I got the line in. So what I want to do is get my eraser out, get rid of the ruler, and start to erase. And someone says, I don't even know what you want at this point. Why did you draw the picture if you don't know what you want? Well, I drew the picture for a reason. I drew the picture because I realized they had a question for me. And the question is, what's the area of that triangle? What's the area of that triangle? And, oh, I forgot to write something down, by the way. C is 2.9. This is C. 2.9. All right? So they want the area of it. So I got to remind myself, there's many different area formulas, but probably the easiest one that most students would know is area of a triangle would be 1/2 times the base. Well, the base is pretty simple. I'm looking at it, and the base is this thing over here. What's the base of that? 8.7. Okay, times the height of it. And this is where a lot of students are going to be confused, by the way. Before I put it down, though, before I put the height or even visualize the height for you, I want to tell you it's going to be yards squared. All right, I'll put this over here. Yards, I'll just put down YD squared. It's square yards or yards squared. I got to get the height. And so I'm going to try to convince you that I can do that by visualizing it. And this is going to be the height. All right? And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to get this angle here and then use the sine function. And what's that angle? That's the reference angle. So it's going to be 180 degrees. Let me put some decimals in there. Sorry about that. 180.0 degrees minus 133.6 degrees. All right. All right, let's go for the, I'm going to actually put the carries in this time. Not the carries, I have to borrow. So this would be a 7. This becomes 10, but I'm going to borrow from that. This becomes 9. And this is a 9, by the way, and this is a 10. 6 from 10 is 4. 3 from 9 is 6. 3 from 7 is 4. So you get 1, whoops, I'm sorry, 1 from 1 is 0. Sorry about that. I was saying had that happen. So I know my reference over here. I know the reference over here. This reference over here. I know it. This reference is 46.4 degrees. I made a mistake there, 46. Okay? So what do I want to do? The sine of 46.4 degrees is equal to h over the c, which is 2.9. So I know what's going to be. What's going to be? H is going to be 2.9 times the sine of 46.4 degrees. All right? If this is an exam question, this is what we're expecting to write down. We're not expecting to do the arithmetic on the exams, by the way. However, as I recommended before, you probably should learn how to use a calculator to take this number over here, compute it, and if you do that, you should get this number over here. If you're having issues with using a calculator, come see me, we can talk about it. Thank you.